Hey everybody, we are live today with Eva Shockey. You probably heard her talking. She's talking to some of her Instagram fans. We're going to be talking about her new book, Taking Aim, and a lot of you sent in some questions in the last week or so during our promotion, and some of you are going to win a copy of her book. We also have this copy to give away. It's signed by Eva. And all you have to do is like and share this post on your page. And I know if you guys are watching on Instagram, you can't really do that, but maybe we'll figure out a way for you guys to win something here too. But anyway, like and share this live stream event. And at the very end of the broadcast, we're going to get on there and pick a random person to win one of these really cool books. All right. Looks like Eva's getting herself all ready.
I was just letting everyone else watch what you're saying.
Oh, okay. So this has been a super big year for you to start off with, but then, you know, you're kind of finishing out with this big book launch. Tell us a little bit about Taking Aim.
Yes, it's been very busy. So I had my daughter, Lenny Bow, almost 8 months ago now, which is crazy. It's gone so fast. And I've always wanted to write a book, and it was something that I had all these messages and things I wanted to tell people. And sort of, I mean, my life story, it wasn't meant by any means to be an autobiography or anything like that. I feel like being young and writing that doesn't make sense. But it was more just stories in my life that lead to messages I've learned over the years. And I would love to get those across, which are things like following your dreams and following your passions. I mean, when I was young, I didn't hunt till I was a little older because I didn't know any female hunters when I was little. And I thought, well, if I want to be classy and feminine like my mom, I can't go hunt with my dad. People are going to think I'm a tomboy. And now there's nothing wrong with that. But at the time, I just wasn't comfortable. I wasn't secure enough to know that that was okay. And that's a lesson that I've learned in my life. And I live every day that you don't have to apologize for what you love doing because you are too young, too old, you're a girl, you're a boy, you're from wherever in the world. If you love something, just go for it. Just do it. And that's throughout the entire book. I keep reiterating that because I would love people that have some sort of insecurity or have obstacles in their way to just feel like, you know, if Eva can do it, I can do it. And this is what she says in her book, and she went through this. And I mean, there's no reason to be nervous or not have confidence to do what you love.
So your book launched earlier this week. Right now, if people want to buy it, they can go to evashockey.com and pick up a copy of your book. I want to keep building our audience a little bit before we get too deep into this. So okay. I had one of your crew members, Todd, send us a clip from like one of your hunting shows. And in honor of elk season, I of course chose the elk one because I'm a Western hunter and I love it. So we're going to take a look at, I think this is from your 2016 elk hunt in Utah. Let's take a look at that clip.
I'm going to let everyone on here see it too. Is it going to show up on here? Oh no, I can't see it from here, can I?
Can you see it? Okay.
Can you see him die? That was so cool. That bull was too young. The really cool thing about where we're hunting right now, it's all free range, but they're really good at managing the herd, so they really are looking for just the oldest bulls we can find, which is great. I love that. But oh my gosh, did you guys see that? That was 30 yards. I mean, it never really gave me a shot, but 30 yards from a monster bull elk right in the middle of the rut. Wow, that's so cool.
Oh, it launched 2 days. Bill from Bowtech. Thank you. I'm actually talking to Bowtech, and now I need to go back.
Yes, we're back, and that's such an awesome clip. I wish you guys could have seen it through the Skype, but we're not right there yet with technology. But anyway, you guys, this is your opportunity to win a Bowtech bow. If you text Shockey to 313131, or if you're in Canada, 393939, you'll be entered into our drawing to win that bow, and I believe the drawing is at the end of September. So make sure you text Shockey to 313131. That will also get you notifications when we go live, which is awesome because we have a lot of live stuff coming up, like live hunts and things of that nature. All right, let's get right into your book. We talked a little bit about like what inspired you to write the book. What was something you learned along the way while you were writing?
First of all, like I was just saying while we were on a break, that my respect level for moms has just skyrocketed since having a child, because it's a very hard job being a mom. It's wonderful, but it's hard. That sort of goes along the same lines as authors. I don't know, in my head, I was like, oh, writing a book, that sounds fun. And it was fun, and it was a very cool experience. But it is really very, very challenging, because here's the difference. What I'm used to doing in my life is filming a TV show. So when you're filming it, I mean, you're kind of talking and hosting, but the video captures where you are. It captures the essence of the location. It shows the colors and the people and the noises. And same with social media. If I'm filming something or posting something, you kind of just post a little blurb or do a little something simple. With a book, you have to describe absolutely everything. I mean, you have to say, okay, I'm here in Alaska, and you have to be like, well, what was I looking at? What were the mountains? What was the color? What were the flowers? What was the wind doing? And what was, like a million different things. You have to really paint a picture because they weren't there. And so that was by far the most challenging thing. And also getting all the details right, because all these hunts I was talking about and adventures, they were from years ago, and I had to remember details about so many little things. And I know that if I misstepped or said the wrong detail of some description, there would be people around the world, obviously, that are very familiar with that concept or that fact or whatever, and been like, well, she's wrong on that, she's faking it. So by no means was I faking it, but it was hard to find all the facts and the details. And I leaned very heavily on my dad for a lot of those facts of like, what type of plant would be growing in that month when I was 7 years old in Alaska, and it's like things that I have no idea what was going on around. But it was fun, and it was cool to recall that, because it really brings you back up to speed and jogs your memory a little bit.
Well, trying to recall those stories that you get when you're 7 is really challenging, because your mind completely, I think, alters them at times as you get older.
Absolutely.
What
Yeah.
seemed really big back then, you're like, oh, maybe it wasn't.
I would say that, and I'd be writing it, and I would be like, Dad, can you check over this? And he'd be like, where did you get that plant? Or where did you get that? I'm like, I don't know, wasn't that what was around? He goes, no. It's really made me, now that I tell stories in person, I really try to be a little bit more detailed, because otherwise I just get right to the punchline, and I'm like, well, if there was really no story, I kind of just started and finished, and there was nothing in between. So writing a book was challenging, but it's the cool part about a book, which is one of the reasons I wrote it. A lot of what I do is also kind of fleeting. Like, it's on TV and the episodes are on and then they're gone. And then social media, which I do a lot of, I post and it gets a little bit of traction and then it's gone a week later. And so by the time my daughter, Lenny Bow, understands the kind of thing that I'm trying to get across, or the next generation of hunters or kids, they're not going to go look up my Facebook post or our TV show probably. So I wanted to write something that I felt like it's going to be on the shelf. It's going to maybe collect a little bit of dust until they're a little older, but eventually my daughter will be able to pick it up and be like, oh, this is what my mom believed in. And hopefully she'll understand that we're trying to raise her to appreciate nature and that kind of thing. So that was the plan.
I'm sure she's going to love the book someday. All right, so we, as winners, we have more questions from ladies. You have a lot of lady fans out there that are super excited about this book. So it was Angela Michelle Ward. You are going to be contacted after this broadcast. You won one of these books, and thank you for your question. Let's get it over to Eva. Where's your favorite place in the world to hunt?
Oh my goodness, I love so many different places for so many reasons. If I had to choose one, I would probably say the Yukon in Canada, which is actually, this week is my hunt. So my dad went without me, didn't even think twice, didn't even pause for a second and think maybe I shouldn't go. So he's in the Yukon right now on my moose hunt. Because we go there every fall, and it's moose, caribou, grizzlies. It's actually our area that we outfit. It's sort of by trade. My family were outfitters, and then the TV show was an add-on over the years. But you go up there, and it's the most pure place on the planet. It's somewhere that you have your 2.5 hours by float plane away from the closest civilization. You're often places in the Yukon when we're out there hunting that literally no one's ever stepped foot on. It's 12,000 square miles of hunting area, and I mean, you're so unplugged and so disconnected, and you have to rely so much on yourself and the people that are out there with you to make everything run smoothly. And it's because, I mean, we are all very spoiled and have everything at our fingertips, which we take for granted, or I'll speak for myself, I take for granted sometimes. But when that airplane drops you off on the little lake, and you're on the dock, and you're walking to your cabin or tent or whatever, and the airplane flies over the mountain and you can't hear it anymore, you just sit there and you're like, you're by yourself. It's the most by yourself you can imagine. I get to be up there with my dad, which I write about in the book quite a bit, actually, my Yukon hunts. And I mean, if you're lucky enough to harvest an animal, it's incredible that the moose, for example, I hunted one the fall before my wedding, so 2 years ago, and we actually served that moose at my wedding for all the wedding guests. So when you think about the meat, how long it lasts, and how many people you can serve with it, it's, I mean, providing for yourself and filling your freezer is the coolest thing ever.
Absolutely. Okay, Kylie Cloak wants to know, what is the biggest challenge to you when it comes to bow hunting?
Staying calm. I'm the worst. It's like bow hunting. So my husband, Tim, is a bow hunter, and he was a professional hockey player for 12 years. So he played NHL, was in arenas with however many thousands and thousands and thousands of people watching him, plus millions of people on TV watching the games. And so obviously you would think that's stressful and, adrenaline. He agrees with me, and not that I have that to compare it to, but just in life, I say that when you are at full draw and a deer walks in my experience, a buck sort of that I've been chasing or that I've been watching year after year, and you're sitting in full draw, and this buck or deer is in front of you, or elk or whatever it is in front of you, and it's sort of like that window of I'm about to take a shot that I've been preparing so hard for. I'm like getting goosebumps just thinking about it, because there is nothing that compares to that feeling and the adrenaline that's going through you, and like I feel like I'm going to black out, and my brain starts going like fuzzy, and my eyes start glazing over. And Tim, my husband, who's been in that hockey situation, which I think all of us would probably agree would be the craziest feeling and the most pressure, he says nothing compares to that moment when you're at full draw with a deer in front of you. And it's crazy to try to explain that to someone that's never shot a bow, or that's never hunted, I guess, because shooting a bow doesn't make any stress. But when I'm in that hunting situation, it's just, I mean, that is the struggle that I deal with every single season. And no matter how much I think I practice, I mean, I go into bow season being fully confident that I can shoot, but you can't prepare for that moment when the animal is there. You just can't. And that's part of my love for bow hunting. I love gun hunting, I love bow hunting, but the bow hunting specifically is that moment, because it's giving me, I mean, I haven't done it since last fall to be in an animal situation, and it's giving me like butterflies in my stomach just thinking about that feeling. And I think that's the high that bow hunters chase. And once you lose that feeling, I'd say you probably shouldn't be hunting, because it's that love and passion for it. I mean, you can stay calm, but if you still have that feeling where it's just the coolest feeling in the world, I mean, that's what the hunt's all about.
Yeah. Well, a lot of times it's just involuntary. Like your legs shaking and you have no idea why.
I think one of the chapters in my book, I talk about my Saskatchewan whitetail hunt, and it was a deer that we'd been watching on trail cameras for years. So every year we watched it, followed its antler growth, and we knew that was the one we were going after. And it came in randomly at like 4:30 in the afternoon, when deer usually don't walk in front of us where we hunt. And I was at full draw, and I vividly recall I was about to black out, and I was in my Primo's pop-up line. I had Wojo, my friend, beside me, and filming over my shoulder. And I thought to myself, I either need to release this arrow, or I'm gonna pass out, and I'm gonna fall and shoot my bow like who knows where. That was the last thought before. It was like a car accident, like the last thought before it happened. And I ended up shooting and made a great shot. And I said, I don't even know if I was aiming. Like, I feel like that was like God coming and like directing my arrow where I had to go, because I thought I was going to faint. And I really did. I genuinely thought like I must not have been breathing, or blood was flooding in my head. I don't know what it was, and it makes me excited.
Uh-oh. Hold on one sec. How's our audio? We're okay. We're getting a little bit of static.
Is it still there?
Oh, we got it. Okay. Yes, I think that's where that muscle memory comes into play. Are you getting feedback on your side?
A little bit, yeah. Just all of a sudden. But it's fine. It's not bothering me. It's just a little
Okay.
bit.
All right, so let's move on. Kylie Cloak, Angela Ward, you both are winners. And then Shannon Lorraine had what inspired you to write Taking Aim? You kind of touched on that already, but that's a good question.
Yeah. The reason why I wrote Taking Aim in the first place, again, it was because I had some messages I wanted to pass out. If I could make one difference, it would be so that any little girl out there that thinks she can't do something because she's a little girl, if she sees that that's not true. I mean, do whatever you want. If you're a little girl, you have the right to do whatever you want, including anything that little boys do and vice versa. And the book is not made just for little girls by any means, but I think it was like reflecting back to when I was little, and I wish I would have seen a female hunter that was a role model that I could have said, well, if she's doing it and she looks like a lady and she's classy, like I can do it and still feel like I'm a girl. And I think the role of a hunter can be so different, and it can look different, and it can act different, and it doesn't mean you're not a hunter. The hunter doesn't have to fall into one little pigeonhole of what a hunter looks like. And then the reason I physically started writing the book was because that message I wanted to pass to the next generation and to other people out there that maybe are dealing with obstacles and insecurities. I was scared to do it. I mean, it's not my specialty to write a book. I used to write magazine articles, and I like writing in general, but it was something that I was like, well, that's really nerve-wracking. What if people don't like it? And what if it fails? And what if, a million other reasons? And then I kind of stopped and thought, the whole reason I'd be writing this is to try to show people to get out of your comfort zone, push a little farther, reach your goals, even though there's something that maybe you're a little bit nervous to do. And I was like, I'm going to write the book. And I actually started writing it the week I found out I was pregnant with my daughter, Lenny. And I finished the last chapter like 4 or 5 days before I had her. So I was really down to crunch time.
Life was going to change very quickly.
It was. I knew this chapter's never going to. So we finished it, and then I had her, and then everyone, the publishing team, kind of gave me like a couple weeks off, and then they're like, we really need to get back on schedule. So I had like a 2-week-old baby in my arm, and I was on phone calls, and I mean, it's a really big process, but I love that I did it right. I didn't just kind of write it in the garage and publish it and send it to a couple people in the neighborhood. Like we really made an effort, and Penguin Random House believed in my story, which was the craziest thing. They're one of the biggest publishing companies in the world. Mm-hmm. And they said I was their passion project, because I'm not a story that's like a big mainstream thing that they're going to make zillions of dollars from. But I was a story that they thought was cool and inspiring, and that I could probably make a little bit of a difference by getting it out there. So thank you to Penguin Random House for letting me do that, because it's a pretty incredible thing to have them on your side.
Absolutely. That's so great when you have people behind you supporting you. Okay, so you've been a huge inspiration to women hunters and young ladies across America and worldwide. But Megan Maloche wants to know, has there been anyone that really stuck out in your mind as inspirational?
Definitely. I'm just pausing because there's so many, it's almost hard to really pinpoint it down. I mean, the most obvious is definitely, as far as hunting goes, my dad. He's the most knowledgeable, experienced, hardworking hunter I've ever met in my life. I mean, he's traveled his whole world. His whole life has been kind of dedicated to that and family, but that's, to us, hunting, the lifestyle hunting includes family, so it's all kind of one bundle. So he was someone just to learn from, to learn the knowledge from, to learn the skills, and just the passion that I see every single day. He's been doing it for so long, and you would think after all those years, he would kind of, it would be a little old for him, and he'd want to do other things. And he said even if he retired from hunting right now, the only thing he would do with his free time is go hunting. So that's really, why retire at that point? People are kind of, you're ever going to slow down? And he just loves it. And that's kind of the same concept that I live by, that do what you love. And that's something I touch on in the book as well. Do what you love, because not 100% of the time you're going to be happy doing it that moment. Sometimes I'm traveling and I'm like, I just want to go home, or I want to see my husband. But 80% of the time, I think if you can love what you do every day, the other 20%, it'll be okay. You know, you'll get through that 20% because you genuinely love it. So that's something that my dad passed on. Obviously, my mom just being a role model in life, and it was wonderful to have her to watch. And that actually taught me in other ways that not everyone's meant to hunt. Not everyone has to hunt, and I don't ever try to push people and say, you should try it even though you don't want to try it. But what I do kind of push a little bit is for them to understand hunting and respect hunting, because what we're doing is a great thing. And my mom understands that. She cooks the meat. She understands the purpose of hunting and conservation. But that showed me that there's a lot of people out there that they're not hunters, but, you know, here's what we do as hunters, and I hope they understand that. And then there's a lot of women in the industry that are role models that have kind of taught me along the way. Someone like Tiffany Lakosky from The Crush, she's a very good friend of mine, and she's in the book. I mentioned her a few times, actually, because she was sort of a turning point when I first started hunting on our TV show. She was there, and she was already very big in the industry, had been doing it for years with Lee, and I was a little bit nervous that I would come in and it would be catty, and, you know, all the girls would be like, Eva's trying to come in here and take over, and I wasn't. I was literally just on the show because that's what my family did. I wasn't really intending to be on the show long term. And the first time I saw her, she had seen my first episode. I was like 20, and she came and gave me a hug and said, I'm so happy that you started hunting. It's so cool that you're in here. Like, this is the best industry. I love that you're learning how to hunt and you weren't scared to do it. And I was like, now knowing her, of course she would say that. But at the time I didn't know her, and I was like, wow, people are so nice and so supportive. And that's something along the way that I think, I mean, I would hope I would have done it anyways just because I'm like that. But I've thought about that moment when she did that to me a lot, and I try to do that to a lot of other people. There's, I mean, the Bowtech team, like Rihanna Carey and Chrissy, and so many people on Bowtech are incredible examples of what female hunters can be. And I mean, they can outshoot me. They hunt a lot more than me, but that's the thing about being able to be a hunter and represent the hunting lifestyle. Whether you're like Rihanna, who goes out all year and like die hard, and that's what she just lives for, or you're like me, I have a baby, I have a big job on top of it. I hunt as much as I can, but the rest of the year, I just love it. I represent hunting. I shoot my bow for fun. I eat the wild game. You can kind of be whatever extreme or not extreme you want to be and still be happy to be a hunter. So I think, yeah, there's just a lot of people that every day I follow on Instagram, and I'm inspired in a little way here or there to like, oh, they're shooting their bow, I should go shoot my bow, or oh, look what they cooked with the wild game, I'm gonna go cook that, or in my dad's case, I mean, look what he's done with his life. That's cool that he's loved so much, and he's done really well because of it.
Yeah, I think the Bowtech women, I didn't really, when I started here 2 years ago, understand exactly what that was, but when I got into it and started watching the social, it's such an incredible place for women to learn and grow and get support. And I think we have at Bowtech some of the most incredible women in the world because they're just so excited to help other people.
I agree. That's kind of carried on from day one, that women in the hunting industry, women that have TV shows or whether they have social media platforms or whether they have nothing and you don't know their name, everyone is so supportive because, I mean, I believe it like they do, that I want other people to see what we're doing and why it's good. And I want people to pick up a bow and go shoot it and see, well, this is what all the fuss is about, like this is why they love it so much. And if you don't want to hunt, don't hunt, but pick up a bow and go shoot. Go to an archery range, go to a course, go to Cabela's, and there's an archery range there. They'll set you up with a bow just for fun to practice and see if you like it. And I've never met anyone, I mean, my husband's mom, who does not like hunting, like she is not on the hunting team so much. We're still trying to get her into it or to understand it a little bit. But we took her to an archery range and she beat all of us. She beat me, she beat my husband, and she was just on top of the world because she realized, I mean, you don't have to be a hardcore hunter to go and have fun with a bow and learn the skill of archery. And it's a really cool thing to include in your life.
Absolutely. Okay, one more question. This is from Taylor Carr, and this came from our Bowtech Women Instagram page. What has been the hardest obstacle being a dominant female in the hunting world?
There's definitely been a few obstacles along the way that I've kind of had to push through. I think you have to have a sort of a thick skin. And it's something that I think the thing I dislike the most, when you deal with anti-hunters, they're anti-hunters and I let it roll off, and it's just part of it. I mean, people don't all love hunting, and I do my very best to spread the word and make them understand why it's a good thing. I don't go on social media to shock them. I don't want to make people, drop their jaw and be like, well, that's horrible or gory or whatever. I try to show as much respect to the animal, to the art of hunting, to the group of hunters, and represent us as positively as possible. So the anti-hunting thing, I'm kind of used to, and I deal with it a lot. So that's not even what bothers me the most. It's when hunters in our world, and we have enough people coming at us from outside, when hunters attack other hunters, or when they criticize other hunters, or when they feel like they're so mighty and they should say the other hunter is not hunting how they should. And I think I totally get that maybe you don't love the way someone else hunts, or in your own opinion, your way's better, but I don't think that's any reason to say that. I think people, whether you hunt in your backyard, whether you hunt in Africa on an expensive safari, whether you have the brand new products and equipment, or whether you have equipment from 30 years ago that your dad handed down to you, I don't really think it matters. And if you like tree stand, spot and stock, free range, high fence, whatever, I mean, if it's legal and if you're following the rules, essentially you are representing the hunting lifestyle, and you're raising money for conservation. You're filling your freezer. You're doing no different than anyone else. And I just love when people support that and don't feel like they're so high and mighty that they can say something bad about another hunter that's really just trying to do what they love as well.
Yeah, we're under enough attack from the outside world that we need to support each other and understand that we all do it different ways, but the ideas and the concepts are the same.
And I love that about the hunting industry in general. I don't really like calling it an industry, because I mean it is when it comes down to it, but just like the hunting world, the hunting lifestyle, anyone that hunts, that it's really supportive for the most part of people that say they love to hunt. And the one thing, I mean, I get comments all the time, and I think they're trying to say it to offend me and get me mad, and it really doesn't, because I just want to be like, you know what? So like the comment of like, she barely hunts. And I'm like, okay, I have a newborn baby. I have a job. Like, it's not that I'm not lying to you, saying I hunt 350 days a year. Like, that's just not what I'm saying. And that's not what I believe you have to do to love hunting and to represent hunters everywhere. I hunt when I can. Like we were saying, we live the lifestyle of field to table throughout the year. We shoot our bows for fun. We set up tree stands and hike and get in shape. And all those elements, to me, that's what hunting is about. And I love, if you go hunting 365 days a year, that's awesome. If you go hunting one time a year, or if you hike a mountain 10 times looking for elk or deer or whatever, like, you're still as much of a hunter as anyone else. And that's the cool thing about being a hunter in general. You don't have to be one or the other.
Okay. Looks like we've got through all of our questions. So those ladies we mentioned, you are winners of Eva's new book, Taking Aim. And if you're just tuning in, if you'd like to buy her new book, you can go to evashockey.com. Eva, is there anything else you want to add?
Yeah, well, the book, so evashockey.com, the links are on there if you want to buy it online, but it's actually launched now. It launched 2 days ago in New York, so it's available wherever books are sold, so in stores as well. If you go to Barnes & Noble, Cabela's, any of those, your local bookstore should carry it. It should be any of those places, or you can also get it online, and for the full list, you can go to evashockey.com.
Perfect. Okay. One more time with the bow giveaway. If you guys want to get entered into the bow giveaway that's been running through the Jim Shockey's Hunting Adventures, it's text Shockey, the word Shockey, to 313131 if you're in the U.S. or 393939 in Canada. All right, Eva, we thank you so much for tuning in today and talking with us, and hopefully we'll get to do this a little bit more when life settles down for you.
I don't know if life's going to settle down, but I'm happy to do this anytime you guys want me on here.
Just pause a little bit.
I might have a baby in my arm next. My mom might not be helping.
That's quite all right. Well, we thank you again for tuning in, and thank you guys all for watching. And again, we will pick the winner of this signed copy after this broadcast is over. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great day. Thank you.